Hey everybody, it's Brian, John from the Project Algerine crew.
Hey.
Today we tracked down the exact location of the Erie Gauge War.
If you were wondering where my family is from, they're from Erie. And if you were wondering what our slogan is, we love Erie. And if you were wondering where our fair city is, it's by the lake. And if you were wondering what our famous catchphrase is, we love Erie.
We're out in Harbor Creek, and this is the site of the Erie Gauge War.
Yeah. Look at that.
Try to get you up close to this.
It's like the Harbor Creek History Center. Cool.
So I'm gonna walk over here and check out the tracks here. So for those that don't know, the Gauge War was about the width of the gauges right there between the tracks. Okay, we had trains that ran into Erie that used a different gauge than the ones that ran out of Erie,
Yep.
meaning everything had to be offloaded in Erie and then put back on to other cars heading out west. That
Quite a process.
Yeah, it was a huge process. So when they decided to standardize and make this the same gauge as the one in Erie, it would eliminate that whole process of having to
Lots of jobs.
tons of jobs would be
Yeah.
gone. So they kind of they got upset and took things into their own hands, and that would have happened right about out here.
Okay.
Let me line up some shots here. Just walk up here a little bit so you can see. It was 1853 that this happened out here, and one guy, so it's my understanding, train comes down, stops because they tore up the tracks here.
Right. Burn
Okay.
bridges, all sorts of destruction.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So the conductor gets off and comes up here, and there's a group of men here, and they get into a confrontation, and the conductor pulls out a gun and shoots it.
Oh my gosh.
Fires it at one of the farmers, hits him in the head.
Ooh.
It didn't kill him. It knocked him unconscious, but it didn't kill him.
Okay.
And that was, then pretty much all their guys, they had come with a big group of guys, like 300 men, and they all come pouring out of the trains, running down here to start fighting with this group of guys down here. So then meanwhile, while that's going on, from this side over here, you had a bunch of people from Erie that came out
Yep.
to fight with them, and they all came out here, and this is where this melee took place out here.
Yep.
After the Erie Gauge War ended in 1854, Erie transitioned from a transportation bottleneck to a key link in a unified rail system. The shift in standard gauge enabled smoother rail connections, boosting trade, travel, and economic growth. Though Erie lost some local control, it gained a broader access to national markets, setting the stage for industrial expansion.
There's a QR code. If you guys want to scan that, you can get a little bit more information. If anybody wants to know where we're at, we're right across from the township building here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people coming into here had to get off here and walk 7 miles into Erie to get back on another train to continue their journey. You could see why that caused a little stir.
Oh yeah.
And eventually it started disrupting the mail, and I think that's when things
That's right.
kind of took a turn.
Well, you had I think I remember the Erie mayor joined in, right? And then he actually cheered when they were ripping up the crowd.
Oh yeah, he was the one that kind of instigated them all to go.
Okay, so that wasn't good. And then they stepped in.
So, but that's where this happened, right out here. It's nice that they have a marker for it.
It's nice.
So we're gonna check out some more history while we're out here.
Let's do it.
We're gonna take you down to one of my favorite places. At one point, though, too, there was a cider mill here.
Okay.
And in 1924 is when they dug underneath here.
Okay.
And at the time they called this the subway. It was actually just getting from one side of the tracks to the other underneath the railroad tracks.
Oh, cool.
But it was actually, they called it a subway.
There you go.
And John Knoll sued the state over this, saying that they damaged his property, which is all this property to the right up here.
Yeah.
That now is the Fiddle Inn.
Okay.
And Depot Road would have came out right here, right there. Originally, yeah. I'm gonna stop in, get some lunch.
But of course, yes, lunch is always an option.
Yeah, that would have been.
Fiddle?
This
Okay.
would have been the front
Okay.
fiddle.
Nice. Okay.
Well, when back then it was the Hume Hotel,
Okay.
Keystone Hotel, also one time it was called. But it was originally built in 1807, and it's got a huge, long history. We'll talk about that. We made it.
Yeah, it's hot out.
It is hot out. This place is cool. Okay, so in 1865 they built the train station right here, the train depot.
Okay.
I have some pictures that I can try to line up, but I'm going to tell you right now, we can't get to where they were taken because it's all overgrown now.
Oh, okay.
But the train station was right about here, and the pictures that you usually see are taken from over there, kind of that way, looking this way. A lot of them are looking this direction.
Got it. Got it.
I think there's one that might be over here that could be lined up. But this was there for quite a while. It was right here, right about where those cars are parked right there. And over here, that's the Fiddle Inn. Now, Fiddle Inn has a really long history here.
Sure.
It was originally built in 1807 as the Keystone and became the Hume Hotel.
Okay.
And it was the Hume Hotel till about 1898, and then it was taken over by John Knoll, and it became the Knoll Hotel. Johnny Knoll was a character, it seemed
Okay.
like. He was the cornet player for the John Philip Sousa band,
That's
and he is most likely the person that's on the recording for Stars and Stripes Forever. The original recording, and he lived here and ran this from 1898 till 1941.
oh,
So in 1907, they were contacted by a circus called the Cole Brothers Circus,
Okay.
and they wanted to winter here. So what they did was they brought in all their train, came in on through the railroad, and
Yep.
they came in and they built barns for all the animals and stuff in between, or just south of here, just south of these tracks.
okay.
And I'll put up an overhead aerial of those. You can kind of see where some of those were. The aerial is from 1939, I believe.
Okay.
But so it would have been, roughly 30 some years later.
Okay.
But I think there were almost a couple thousand people stayed here in 1907
circus.
because of the circus. Yeah, and they camped all back in here. They had places built. They says that they stayed in a schoolhouse over there, and
Okay.
they stayed on the second floor.
Sure.
And then, they were. It said they were ordering roughly $2,000 a week in supplies
Sure.
from around
It's like a small city rolling in, man.
the area. So, Harbor Creek welcomed them, and they
Yeah.
were. It was really good to the economy here for that year. 1920, when they allowed women to vote. Apparently, this is where they first voted.
Oh, wow.
Here in Harbor Creek, it was at this building here.
That's
Now-
historic in itself right there.
It is. Now I want to walk over here because I want to show a part where Depot Road used to go.
$100 years ago, 105 years ago, half the population was in
Yeah, a lot of change. A lot has changed since then and now, huh? Okay, so the reason why I'm on this side of here is this is the front side,
Oh, okay.
and this is where originally this was the Depot Road, and it came up here and actually went all the way through. And then in 1924 is when they put in the little area over there that you can go underneath and get to the other side of the tracks. So in 1924, Johnny Knoll was drinking a beer out here, and that was right in the middle of Prohibition. And they came and they arrested him. There was a big scandal for a while, and eventually he was fined $300. But it was at the time it was a pretty big scandal because he said, well, he's not really out drinking at a bar; he's drinking at home. He wasn't lying, because he lived here.
Right.
Even though it was a hotel, but he still lived here. Another really interesting story I thought was interesting is that apparently he was gifted a solid gold cornet from Mrs. Strong,
Okay.
Annie Strong, and It's mentioned in a couple articles that he would sometimes pull it out and play for people in the dining room here. And when he died, there's no mention to it. Yeah, there's no mention of it ever again.
Oh,
And
no way.
you know, something like that, a rare solid gold instrument like that would probably,
You'd know where that went.
you'd know where that went. Yeah. So I looked into where, you know, it's possible that he was buried with it. You know, it meant a lot to him. So it's very possible that they just put it in his casket and buried him. And I looked up to where he's buried in the Erie Cemetery, and he's buried there, but there's no headstone. So it's kind of interesting too.
Oh,
His
yeah.
family all has headstones, but he doesn't have a headstone for some reason. Odd
Very
story.
Weird.
No X marks the spot. Hmm.